Hi. Wait, here, let me turn on my camera so we can see that everything, okay. Everything in my setup is still a little scuffed. I'm sorry. Is that better? Is that... I like the bottle of cleaner in the back. The unlabeled cleaner, it just looks like piss in a spray bottle. This is Pine Sol, by the way. Hi, Chad.
Hi, Smith.
Thank you so much, Glitchy. Banana, do you want me to play Banana Phone for you? I will. Wait. No, I got this.
Good morning.
We haven't listened to Banana Phone in a minute. Alright, there you go. You got rid of the green. I sort of did? I don't know. You can not see it at all. My hair is brown. What's up with that? What do you mean that isn't piss? It just isn't. Don't worry about it. Hello, chat. I missed you guys. It's been a week since I streamed, technically. It feels like a lot longer than that because I was away and I was in Florida and I was doing business stuff, attending business meetings, thank you so much for the gifted sub, Girl Gems. I appreciate it. I'm gonna piss on the moon. Anyways, almost subbed for a year. Yeah. No more lean stiff, guys. Sorry. Yeah, no, I literally just dyed it brown. Well, okay, to be very fair, the box said dark blonde. So... I guess my hair was just thirsty, you know? I guess it was just thirsting for some hair dye. Yeah, anyways, welcome chat, welcome to today's stream. If I'm a little slow today, it's because I don't have coffee, and I haven't had coffee today because, well, my coffee maker broke, and I could have gone out and bought coffee, but I was like, you know what? Am I really in the mood to pay like $5 for a cup of coffee right now? No. So, what we're gonna be doing today, first of all, if you guys don't remember, I tried to do a stream with BackMarket, like, I don't know, like a week and a half ago. Thank you so much, Pen Wingstar, for the Prime. I tried to do a thing with BackMarket like a week ago, and my stream crashed, and it was so sad. So anyways, at the beginning of today's stream, we're going to be giving away an iPad Pro with BackMarket. If you guys don't know what BackMarket is, I did talk about it last time on my stream, but, basically, what it is a website where you can buy refurbished electronics. I think you guys could do ! BackMarket, and yeah, it's actually pretty cool. You can get them at a pretty discounted rate. Here, let me do the BackMarket. I think it still works. BackMarket. There we go. You can still do the command in chat and check out the website. They're really cool. They sent me a thing for Charles. They sent me a phone for Charles, and it came in really good condition. So. Anyways, yeah, we're gonna do that first. That way, if my stream crashes this time, the person that was gonna get their iPad can still get their iPad. Only thing is, I'm pretty sure you have to be over 18. I think that's the only thing. So we can do that really quickly. We're gonna do a keyword. Here, wait, I think I can do, like, I think I can set up, don't mind me. Wait, if I do this, wait, Chrome. All right, and then I go to window capture, and I choose. Oh, okay. I think I can choose like someone from with a keyword. So I'm gonna try that, and then after that, just like DM my alt on Twitter, and then I can get you connected with BackMarket, and they'll have everything that will like they'll make sure you get your stuff. So, what should our keyword be today? Wait, eligibility keyword. No extra luck. What should the keyword be? We're using light mode. I'm sorry. Don't judge me. Women. Cool. That's a great keyword. Let's use that keyword. Women. Okay. So, chat, if you would like to enter, just type women in chat. Women, not woman. Just clarify. And then yeah, it will randomly choose someone. And then yeah, you guys can message me on my old Twitter. I'll get you connected to BackMarket, and they will send you an iPad Pro. I'm also going to be throwing in a $20 iTunes gift card because that should allow you to buy like Procreate or like Flip a Clip or whatever. I'm going to give you guys just a few seconds to spam the chat here. It's women with an E, not woman. So I'll give you guys a minute here to do that. And then I will click the roll it thing. Why are we spamming woman? This is the keyword for the giveaway today. Yeah. All right. I'm going to give you guys 1 more minute. Cause women, exactly. You get it. You get it. You get it. All right, here we go. Start giveaway, roll it. It says there are no eligible users. Hello? Yes, there is. They're literally. Hello? Random number. Active user. Random active user. Random number generated. What? How does this work, chat? Do I have to do? There are no eligible. Wait. It can be regulars. Wait, users. Ordinary users. How do I do this? Do I have to choose everyone? What? Homophobia, I'm telling you. Okay. Wait. The keyword. This is a keyword people to an. It's case insensitive, by the way, chat. Apparently. What is this? Why is this so? Okay, wait. Active user, random number. This is, how does this work? Why do I not know how this works? Woman phobic? I think so. Anti-spam? Wait. What do you mean? What do you mean? Chat, what do I do? do I just pick someone random? How does a random number work? I'm curious. There are no do you just choose? This is the minimum number that can be randomly generated. This is the maximum. How do I... Take me by the hand. Look at the left, eligible users. Reset, wait. Keyword. 0 eligible users. This is... Come on. Come on. Why don't you... How do I do this? Literally? Okay, wait, chat. I'm gonna figure this out. We're learning to stream. We're learning to do. I've never done a giveaway on stream, okay? I've never done. How does Nightbot giveaway work? Does Nightbot need to be modded? Wait, /mod Nightbot. Yeah. Does that work? Is Nightbot? I can do it. I can do it. Nightbot is already... Okay, it's okay. Believe in me, guys. Yeah. Yeah. The user in the... wait. When you enter a keyword for the... I literally did that. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
New hair, OMG.
Thank you. Thank you. I think that Nightbot is being very homophobic right now, chat. Just give me a second here. Should I don't want to choose someone random because I feel like I'm going to be biased. How does the random number work? Okay, do I just do like, here. Do you guys, I don't know how this works. Wait. Giveaway, here. Can I just do active user? There are no eligible users. Yeah, well, you can kiss my ass. Anyone want to cry with me real quick? Just a concept. Just a concept. It's okay. Is there a way to like choose just a random... Yeah. I'm looking it up online. And I'm sitting here very stupidly. Little John walking through the forest. I don't know why this song is playing. Here. Can we listen to the Lizzo song? By the way, I'm kind of...
Thank you for the year of comfort. Less than 33 adore you.
I just arrived. What's happening? I'm struggling. That's what's going on. I'm... Oh, wait. Is it working? Wait. Join... Oh. Okay, wait. Now let me try this. I think I know what's going on. Oh my god, I got it to work. All right. Chat, this is your moment. Everyone type woman. Wait. Woman. Everyone type woman. It's working. Everyone type woman. But why did it stop adding people to the chat? No, don't mark that person ineligible. Keyword, active user, keyword. Automatically mark users. Oh. Disable. There we go. Why is it marking? It's because you guys pressed it multiple times. It's marking you guys enable. That's stupid. Wait, now I have to go through. I have to go through and fix this. Pump me up. All right, chat. We've got a lot of people in here. You know what that means, right? This means that we're gonna roll it soon. I'm just unmarking everyone who's it tried to mark you guys as ineligible. We've got 40 people. Why does it keep marking these? Just only do it once, please, chat. Otherwise it's gonna keep marking you ineligible. Okay. I got this. I want everyone to have a fair chance. I like these usernames. It's very interesting. Alright. Here we go. I'm gonna press roll it. Are you ready? Wait, shoot. I gotta get these people Alright. Chat, here we go. What do you mean there's no eligible? It literally says eligible users. Why does it? Okay, roll it. Come on. Who's Strawberry Boba? Who is Strawberry Boba? I just pressed roll it. I think I got it. I'm just letting it choose somebody. Who's Strawberry Boba? Strawberry Boba, talk in chat. Talk in chat, Strawberry Boba. I need you to prove that you're Strawberry Boba too, by the way, unfortunately. Sorry, Nightbot is going crazy right now. I'm gonna unmod Nightbot now. Where's Boba? Where's Strawberry Boba? Strawberry Boba, are you here? King? King? Please? Please answer. I'm waiting on you, Strawberry Boba. Strawberry Boba's not saying anything, chat. This is not good. I believe in you. Wake up! Please, just message me, Strawberry Boba, message me on Twitter. Prove to me that you're Strawberry Boba. And then you know what we're gonna do? I'll give you an iPad from BackMarket. Anyways, now we'll get back to this. Is that Strawberry is Strawberry Boba here? They leave? That'd be so awkward if they did. What? Oh, there we go. Yeah, no, Strawberry Boba, you won. Do you have Twitter? Can you message me on Twitter, homie? My Wi-Fi just died. Welcome to the Snifferish channel. All we know is scuffed giveaways. Anyway, Strawberry Boba, yeah, I didn't even say woman. Well, apparently it marked you down. So, would you like it? I'm not old. Oh shit. Okay, wait, here we go. Roll again. Wait, how come it's saying 9 eligible users? Come on. Come on. I'm gonna just, come on. Why is it not working? Why is this the most scuffed thing I've ever done? Here we go. Active user. Keyword. This is so sad. I'm gonna cry. This is, here, reset eligibility. Users. Yeah, we'll just try it again. And I'll just, what about Olive Tree? Did Olive Tree say women? Every day I am in pain, and it's because I don't know how to do things, and because oh god, okay, oh wait, that's one of my mods. I'm sorry, mod, that would seem biased. All right, let's try this. Snifferish, more like scufferish. What's the giveaway? Hi, Sequira. I don't think this person said it. Why is Nightbot so bad? What about Noodle? Actually, I think that's one of my mods. Again, I don't want. No, you unchecked everyone. Now only people that didn't. Oh. Chat, give me a second. I'm gonna refresh my entire page right now. Okay. Okay. Keyword. I see. I see where I went wrong. We're gonna do keyword. It's gonna be women. Okay. There we go. Hopefully this works, chat. Yeah, I fixed it. I fixed it. I did it. Okay. One more time. One more time, chat. I have so much pain. I have so much pain. So the people that it does mark are the eligible people. I understand now. Do you ever just like have pain and you're like, what's going on in my life? And it's just the pain of, yeah. I don't have Twitter. That's fair. I wish there was another way for you. You could contact one of the mods on Discord maybe. So yeah, I wouldn't let that stop you. Thanks for the 18 months. Yeah, we've got 2 now. They're twins. So much women words in chat. Well, you know what? I'm just having a great time. BackMarket said, you know what? I want you to give away something. And I said, yeah, I can totally do that. And then, see, this is, maybe if I had more technology, I would, yeah. All right, here we go. I'm gonna roll it now. Medflow. Is this person in chat? Is Medflow in chat? A person that actually said women? Let's hope so. I hope so. Hi! Hello! Hello, Medflow. Are you... That's you. Did you mean to enter the giveaway? And by that, do you... Oh... No, we wait. I am not of old. Great, thanks. Thanks. What about Strawberries 18? Guys. I'm crying. I'm crying in my seat. I'm gonna... I would prefer you guys to be over 18, just because I think there's like some, like, if you're under 18, I think there's like some legal giveaway stuff, but yeah. Nobody is old enough. Yes, I entered it. Okay, Strawberries 18. Do you have Twitter or, like, someplace, or like Discord? And then you can message me, and I'll get you in contact with BackMarket, and they'll send it to you. Epic. Cool. That's great. You can, if you want to message my alt Twitter, oh, don't mind that. Don't mind me looking up how does Nightbot giveaway work. Okay, message my alt. It's @SniffAlt, and I'll get you connected to BackMarket. Cool. Congratulations. That's awesome. I hope you have a good time with them. I'll get you, like I said, I'll get you connected to BackMarket. They'll handle everything. They'll handle the shipping. Thanks. Oh my god. Thanks. Thank you so much, Strawberries 18. Can we just ban Night? I'm gonna ban Nightbot now. There's ban Nightbot. Thank you. Get out of here, Nightbot. You're annoying as hell. Okay. We did it. Now I can draw. After all this time, I can actually get to the actual drawing portion of the stream. I'm gonna cry. Is it this one? No, it's not that one either. It's excuse me, guys. I don't remember where I put my drawing scene. Rip Nightbot. No. Gonna cry. Wait. Sniff. What are you doing? Oh, I see what's going on here. It's my window capture. It's over. Oh, I figured it out. So, do you ever just want to cry a little on the inside because you don't know what you're doing at all? And you're like, this is such a great day. I'm just going to sit here and draw. And then yeah. Anyways, it only took 20 minutes, but, We can start drawing now. Oh my god. Anyways. Thank you for doing that super scuffed giveaway. After the stream, I'll contact you, Strawberries18, and we can get that all sorted out. Okay. All right, friends. Today, we are going to be doing some pride art. I haven't done, like, an art stream in so long. I promised one before I left, and then I think I just got distracted. I already did, like, the basic sketch, because I hate sketching people on stream. Because I get so nervous about my, like, processes and people watching me. Yeah. Gay art? Yes. This is gonna be some pretty gay art. So, what I wanted to do, I've been wanting to do pride art for a while. Like, but then I was always like... how do I explain this? Cassie, where is the guacamole? I might have ate it all before stream. I don't know what you want from me. Yeah, I'm gay. I came to the right stream. So true. So I was like always kind of wanted to do pride art, but then I was like, I was like, I don't know. I feel like I always thought it was a little cringe to do pride art, but then I was like, you know what? Cringe doesn't exist. So I'm gonna do the sketching right now. I'm doing my partner and I. Yeah. Hi Charles, you tried. I'm gonna sit down. The neurodivergent urge to sit down in your chair like a freaking weirdo. Also, the sun just started coming in, so you guys don't actually get to see my face now. So the whole point of this piece is like, so this is gonna be my partner, Charles. This is me, and I kind of wanted to do like we have one thing in common, which is that we're non-binary, so that's gonna be the big flag, and then we're gonna be holding our like other little separate flags. I'm not sure if I want to do like our online personas or like us, but I'm not sure. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm probably gonna do like a mixture of in between. So anyways, time to get sketching. So yeah, no, I do like really messy sketches and then I clean them up before stream because I'm actually embarrassed. It's great. Cringe doesn't exist. It's a social construct. So true. All right, here's the fun part. Faces? I guess this is the time where I get to figure out. I have a very wide nose, chat. Not embarrassed of that by any means. It's just a fact. I also want to make this a lower opacity. And then for anyone who asks what my brushes are, homie, I don't know anymore. I gave up on like trying to remember what my brushes were long ago. Okay, I'm gonna do eyes right about, should be, wait. Don't mind me, I'm proportioning my face. In case you're ever wondering, there should be like about an eyeball width between the two eyes. I learned that, and I think I'm cool because I learned that. So, anyways, chat, I can finally start to tell you stories about my trip. So, if you're new here, hi, I'm Snifferish. I promise I'm not always that scuffed. It's more like 30% of the time, as opposed to that 100%. This eye is super wide. It's a little bit too cartoony for my style. But yeah, hi, I'm Snifferish. I just recently took a trip to Florida, which was super fun. I was there for my gaming org, which is Misfits, and it was like a lot of work. It wasn't... I know that we always want to advertise to you guys that we're having like the most fun possible, but honestly, it was such an exhausting trip. Not in a negative way, like that's just like how it be sometimes, but hi, I'm new here. Hello, new here. I'm Sniff. So I don't know, I'm like happy to be home, but also I don't know, I'm sad because I enjoyed hanging out with my friends. I enjoyed seeing my friends in person. That's the thing, is like it's so much easier to communicate with people and all that jazz, but you know, it's fine. We'll go back to being little online stinky guys. Okay, these eyes feel really far apart still. I'm gonna just bring them a little bit closer. And do like right there. And like right there. Okay, now it looks too close. I take it back. This is how all of it all goes. I don't know, I think I want to make them, I keep on making them thinner. Like more So I look really angry. Hello? Sniff, don't be so angry. Be more happy. Be happy, friend. Here, I'm gonna try changing the... warp the shape of the eyes. I can't draw. I bet you could if you wanted to. Just saying. Maybe rotate them. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. I think they're just like too downward. Especially for like being snifferish eyes. I have very not downturned eyes. And then I'm also gonna change the pupils. I think I just, most of the time when I draw like the insides of eyes, I do it as more of like a benchmark. Damn it. Do you guys ever make facial expressions while you're drawing? Because I do that all the time, and it's like slightly embarrassing, but I don't know. Okay, that looks a little bit better. I'm gonna bring them just a little bit closer together. Anyways, chat. If you guys have any questions about like what happened on the trip, I'd love to tell you some silly stories. I just have no idea where to start because it was just a lot. It was just a lot in general. What app do you use to draw? I use Procreate. Best drawing app in my opinion. I think it's nice because it's just really cheap. Like it's like $10. You don't have to pay any reoccurring subscriptions. I just like it a lot. Yeah. Snoober stories? Oh my god. So, chat. I can drive. Let me preface this by saying I can drive. However, to get like a rental car, you need to be above 25 most of the time. And so that means that the only person that could drive the entire time we were in Florida was Sneak. Now, we just immediately like started referring to it as the snoober, but boy oh boy, it was like a soccer mom SUV. So like I'm talking like it had like the 2 seats in the back, a middle row, like it was built for like shoving kids into it. And yeah, it was just a lot. And every time we went there, like I don't know how, but the conversation always went towards like, ah yes, let's talk about something incredibly weird. There was this one time when it was just like dead silent and Bill just goes, so what kind of kids were you guys in school? Cause I was an asshole. Like oh my god. It's like when you shove a bunch of streamers into a car, that's when you really know. That's when you really see the social skills go down the drain, like completely. To be very fair, I'm not doing that well socially either. You have a nice voice, respectfully. Thank you. Okay. So this is me. This is Snifferish. And do my eyebrows. I know it's a very messy sketch, but I typically just like render over my sketches, so I'm never really concerned about keeping them clean unless it's like the main body one, because yeah, okay. Sniff, those eyebrows are a little bit too much for your face. Okay, here we go. I think I'm gonna add my glasses in there. That's another thing is I didn't have my glasses.
Gay. Oh hey,
so
look, 9 days left till Pride Month. That's gay.
Thank you for sharing that. I was gonna say though, chat, I didn't have my glasses the entire time I was in Florida, and there were so many times when I was just like using screens and like could not see literally anything. It was so silly. I'm so proud of that moment of mine. What did you reply with? What type of kid was I in school? I was like the kid that everyone like thought did drugs but didn't. Like, I know that's like a little silly to say, but it's true. Like, I was always hanging out with the art kids, and I would spend like ridiculous amounts of time in the art class after school. Like, I'm pretty sure everyone thought that I like heavily smoked weed, which like nothing wrong with that, by the way. But yeah. How? No, it wasn't. Here's the thing, chat, is you gotta keep in mind that like I live in Vermont, and here like it's not like when I refer to like, you know, doing the weed. It's not like seen as like a bad thing here because it is legalized. I mean, if you're under 21, you're not supposed to. But that's what everyone thought I did in school, just because I was like the art kid. But no, I was actually doing Prozac, which is, which is prescribed to me. I really want to get a haircut. Sorry, I'm just thinking about this because I'm like drawing my hair, and I think I'm gonna draw like a mixture of like Snifferish hair and like not Snifferish hair. Okay, the art room vibes are good. This is true. I feel like, okay, whenever I was in the art room, like after school, there would always be someone else there, and they would always like confess their sins to me. Like, I don't know how else to explain it other than that, but like there was always one other person there, and like it would start like the first 30 minutes that we were there, it started off silent, and I wouldn't say anything. And then we would just like kind of jokingly start a conversation. I'm on the wrong layer, it's fine though. We would just like kind of jokingly start a conversation, and then next thing you know, they're telling me about their like deepest fears, and like it was a lot. Okay, wait, here we're gonna get into dyslexia for shapes. No, it's just my brain. It's how it's like light. It's specifically with screens. Okay, I'm gonna make my hair like, because I'm like leaning so slightly, my hair's gotta go. Oh, Sniff. Look at how cute that is. I love this. Ah! I met one of my best friends in high school's art rooms. Art rooms are awesome. You know what's funny, chat, about my mod saying that is I think I know exactly who they're talking about, and they're also one of my good friends that I also met in the art room. Wait, what shape are my glasses? They're like half round? They're like, I don't know how to explain it. They're like grandma glass. Why do I literally... Oh, we live in a society. Snifferish drawing is my favorite drawing. Thank you. I feel like I look really nerdy here, but I'm kind of here for it. Okay, I need to make my jaw like a little bit rounder. I get the chubby cheeks. Looks a little silly, but I can clean it up right here. Okay, and then I'll go here. We can just... And I will... Just gonna make it a little bit... Excuse me. Oh my god. It's my stomach. The guacamole wasn't enough, folks. What's your opinion on cheese and lactose, but IK cheese low-key valid? Have you ever had, like, Cabot cheese? So, where I live, we have this brand called Cabot. They make really great cheese, and all of their cheese is lactose-free, so... I love cheese. There's, like, some cheeses that do have lactose in them, and I'll still eat them anyways. I don't know, it's kind of like ice cream. Like, I just, like... I don't have the time to, like, be picky about it. Like, will I, in fact, cry later when I go to use the bathroom? Yeah, but it's ice cream, and I don't regret it. Also, what outfit do you think I should make Snifferish wear? By that I mean myself. I'm trying to think about, like, what an iconic outfit of mine is. I don't really have any iconic outfits. I also, maybe I should draw my partner's face next and then focus on the outfits. I would marry cheese. That's how much I love cheese. Mushroom hat. I wish I had a mushroom hat. Oh my god. I like broccoli and cheese. Oh my god. The broccoli cheddar soup from Panera. Sniff merch? I'm down to draw some sniff merch. I very recently have realized that I follow like a lot of like lesbian stereotypes, and I was like, shit. I really, yeah. Like, I don't know. I don't really know how else to explain it other than to just say that. Okay, so I normally wear my sniff merch like layered because I like the sniff merch to be big. So I'm gonna do a layer of like a turtleneck and then another layer of the sniff merch. Unfortunately, from this angle, because unless you can like see the bottom, it's just like a cream sweater. But yeah. What brush are you using? I will show you eventually. It is just, people ask me this every time and I never know what to answer. Do you like KFC? Well, seeing as how I'm vegetarian, I haven't been to KFC since I became vegetarian. Like, I genuinely do not know what vegetarian options they have. And probably not very much. But I remember when I, like, was, like, not vegetarian that I liked it. You know? Also, chat, can you tell, like, how much I just love sketching clothes? It's just so good. I love clothing. I mean, I hope I would, but... Okay, so this is cute, and then I need to do the flag. So my flag is gonna go... Wait, here, I think I need to change this, otherwise it's kind of making the hand look weird. So we'll do, like, that. Like I said, this is just the sketch, so I'm trying to be pretty loose with it. And then I'm gonna make the flag itself, like, a little... like, small. Just so it doesn't take up too much visual space, but... Actually, you know what? Fuck it. Yay. Cool. So there's me and my flag. I look so cute. And then, here, let me just... Next we will draw Chuckles. Wait, where can I buy the merch? It's not up yet, chat. I'm working very hard on it, but yeah. Chicken, free chicken. Yes. I don't know what that means. Don't even ask me what that means. I don't know what that means. Okay. So next I have to draw my partner. Excuse me if I remember what my partner literally looks like. Oh my god. Wait, also, maybe I should add the stripes real quick. I gotta do like... There's 5 stripes. So wait, let me do the middle one first. And then I'll go from there. I'll clean it up later. Okay, now Charles. Charles has kind of a wide nose like I do, but they have much thinner lips than I do, so... Also I think... Wait, I just realized. I totally 100% prefer to smile with my mouth closed. So I'm gonna do that. There we go. That also lets me show off my nice little bottom lip that I have. What flag is this one? This one is the... So, all the flags that I'm doing is, there's gonna be... Mine is a lesbian flag, and then we're holding together the non-binary flag. And then Charles over here is just gonna hold, like, the normal LGBT flag. Charles is unlabeled, like, sexuality-wise, and I asked them if they wanted to use the unlabeled flag, but they said they would just prefer if I use, like, the basic, like... LGBT community tag, so yeah. Okay, I'm gonna get started on Charles. I'm trying to think about like how to do their face, because normally when I don't draw Charlie's face a lot, because normally when I draw their character I just draw like a skeleton, so not really so sure how to like actually do that. Go non-binary. Are you dyeing your hair purple again, or is it staying brown? I think it's probably gonna stay brown for a bit. The purple is... Okay, so in case you're wondering why I, like, stopped doing purple, it's just... It was super difficult to maintain, and whenever I would, like, go to fix it up, it would, like, turn weird colors. I don't know. It was just, like, bothering me a lot, the color inconsistencies and stuff, so, yeah. Sip and poo to my parents. Dude, me and Charles, when we adopt half of the internet on accident... Okay, so Charles has more, like, deep-set eyes. So I'm gonna try and do that, like, they have more, like, their eyebrows, like, they have very poofy eyebrow. Poofy eyebrow. I think I gotta make their nose a little bit smaller. This is so hard getting facial features. See, this is the fun part about drawing fictional people, is like, you don't need to like make it look as realistic, but then I start drawing people I know and it's like, how do I do this? How? Okay, I'm gonna try and... Yeah, I think this is more... That's more of an accurate eye shape than this one, so I'm actually gonna erase this. Okay. There we go. I think this is much more... I gotta get the big bushy eyebrow. They look so angry. Charlie kind of does have a resting confused face. Try to... Okay, wait. Barf! Barf!
2 months.
Thank you so much!
Still sorry for pretending your cat was my cat less than 3.
Speaking of Suki, do you guys want to see Suki? She's like out of surgery and she's actually doing like super well. Like she's being extra scrunkly, she's really lovey. And she's just being overall like a nice gal. A nice little girl. I'll go grab her real quick. I'm sure that you guys would love to see her. I'll be right back. See, only thing is, she has lost a little bit of weight. She's a little bit more like skinny now, and I gotta fatten her back up. Wait, here. Let me switch to my camera for a second. Oh, that's not my camera, Suki. Suki, give me a second. Suki. See? Oh. How is that? How is that, Suki? Do you want me to lift my arm? What are you doing, silly? You can see her shaved belly. Oh, Suki. How was your surgery, sweetie? Come here. Come here. Yeah, she's a little... Why are you so camera shy, Stinky? Why are you so camera shy? Here, let me get the blanket on me. She likes to sit on me if there's a blanket on me. Suki. Come here. Come here, Suki. She's so skinny. Oh my god. Yeah, it was really weird because apparently they like filled her with water after the surgery. Ooh. Why are you so scrunkly and weird? She looks very homophobic right now. I don't know how to, like, yeah. Glad she's doing good. She is. She is. It's only been a week and a half already and she's like fine. Like, we can pick her up, she's walking around, she's doing her thing. So, I think she's having a very good post-surgery moment. I'm very proud of her. Wait, I gotta let her out. 1 sec, chat. Look at her, I missed Suki the beloved. Dude, me too. Hey, Suki, I'll let you out. I know, it's warm in here. Get your little booty out. She doesn't like being in here as much because she knows that Maya's also in here. But honestly, I'm just glad that she's better. There is a chance that she'll have to get surgery again, unfortunately, but we won't know for a while whether or not that's the case. So, rip. Yeah, so, I don't know. They said it was mostly successful and they think that they got what they were looking for. So, we just have to hope that's actually the case. I feel like I need to make the eyeballs smaller and closer together. Or just smaller. I have to flip the image and then cry about it, so... That looks wrong already. Charles. Okay, I'm going to... Charlie has such a silly little smile. There's a lot of good photos of them from the trip. Look at this silly guy. Silly little friend. Except Charlie has like no lips, so I'm just gonna try to do like a little lip line, but it's gonna be very small. Okay, and then Charlie's jawline is a little bit more defined than mine. Me when I accidentally date a model and then they've got a sharp jawline and then mine's rounded. And I'm like, what the frick? Yeah. Okay, now I'm gonna do... The thing I love about Charles is he looks lost most of the time. That's because Charles is lost most of the time, chat. Yeah, may I ask what you're drawing? I'm doing some pride art for June. Yay! But welcome, Raiders. I appreciate it. No, this is true. Charlie does look lost most of the time. I think it's because they're like... How do I explain this? Charles is very head empty in a very positive way. Okay, now I gotta do like their hair whooshes. They're like Gerald to Riviere hair whooshes. Their hair is longer than mine. So I have to do that. This is when I forget. Literally, this is so funny. Every time I draw someone, I like immediately, like, okay, hopefully this isn't just me, but every time I draw someone, I like immediately forget what they look like the second that I start drawing them. Now, keep in mind, this is a person that, like, I wake up with every day, and I'm, like, sitting here like, wait a minute. How do they look again? Just, like, drawing, like, the hair whooshies. Now, that doesn't make sense to you guys, but the hair whooshies are important to the Charles Boudoir look. Yeah, this is looking like Charlie. Thinking about the time you had with someone else. Okay. They're the real Rapunzel. So true. The brand of the Charles whooshes. Okay, and then I'm just gonna give Charles like a t-shirt. Charles is a t-shirt kind of person. Like t-shirt and then like jean jacket. Because yeah. I'm not gonna draw them in their jean jacket though, just because their jean jacket has a bunch of rips in it. And that sounds really complicated. So I'm gonna not. Okay, then I'm gonna do some... And then that also means I don't have to draw their sleeve over here, which is nice. It's the pain of... Okay. And there's that flag. How many stripes does the normal gay flag have? The rainbow one? Wait, is it 7, right? Excuse me while I look this up. LGBT flag. It is 6. Okay. Maybe I should make this one wider. This looks like it's gonna be hard. I'm gonna just waste it on you. Okay, I'll divide it down the middle. This is gonna be really scuffed, but I'll do it better later, I guess. This is just the sketch. Cool, and then I'll do the non-binary one, which I think starts with yellow. I'm so good at knowing my own flags. And then, actually, I feel like I should make it thinner on purpose so that, like, even though it's like kind of cut off, you can kind of see what's going on. There we go. There we go. Cringe pride art. I've always wanted to do cringe pride art. Okay, now we get to do the fun part, which is like actually rendering and stuff like that. So what I normally do is I take this, gonna reduce in the opacity, same thing here, and we're just gonna go to town. We're just gonna Go for it. I always start with the face for some reason. I don't know why. I think it's just like my preferred thing to start. Okay, I'm gonna make it really light. And we're gonna get started on this. Okay, when I'm doing rendering, I typically use the value part. That way I can make sure that I'm using a pure grayscale. So, first things first. Wait, I'm just gonna flip this real quick. Forgot to do that. Flip canvas. Oh, God. I have regrets. One sec, chat. Why do they look like that? Leonardo DiCaprio looking ass. Wait. Shh, no one saw that. Had dinosaurs on the flags. You know, you would think that would be about that, but... Up in the first place. Okay, then this one needs to go, like... It's gonna look really scuffed. It's fine. Charles just has like this face. That's my reasoning for this. Charles just has this face. They look really silly. I don't know what to do to fix this, but I think it's still just too tilted. Oh, now they look silly. Why are angled faces so hard? Yeah. Oh no. I have so many regrets on this. Okay, anyways. I'll deal with it. I'll figure it out later. That's my eyebrow gone. This is my reasoning for everything is I'll figure it out later. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, smaller brush. Oh wait, no. I want to go here. Now we just get to enjoy the lovely processing that is rendering. Something I said made you anxious. So I just like kind of start off by like not blending super hard. Try not to be a try-hard with my blending. But it kind of happens anyways, because I just enjoy playing with the pressure of the Apple Pen. Okay. I just kind of keep going back and forth. Eventually, once I get it, I will, like, start color picking. Yeah, there we go. What kind of brushes do you use? Dude, this is the funny thing. I literally use the same brush for everything. It's like some modified brush. Yeah, it's like, here, I'll just like go through really quickly and then you can like pause and screen cap or whatever. It's a modified chalk brush and I literally use it for my sketching, my rendering, my coloring, my, yeah. Also, I am using an Apple Pencil. I'm using the first gen of Apple Pencil because I don't have an iPad Pro myself. So I personally can't. I think you have to have, like, I'm pretty sure for the new Apple Pencil you need a certain generation of iPad. I don't think I have it. Okay, I'm gonna make this. I have to do my under eyes. I actually, you know, I used to hate drawing my under eyes because I was like, why would I purposely show off the fact that I have terrible eye bags? But lately, I don't know, it's been like kind of nice drawing them because I've been like, yeah, that's just my eyes. Makes me feel a little bit better about it. This might sound weird, chat, but if you're ever like insecure about like something, just draw it. Like, I know it sounds weird, but like, I'll definitely admit, like, when I was like going through it, especially like in high school and I was like having issues with my body and stuff like that, drawing actually really helped that. I was like, I would like draw myself and I'd be like, I can't really hate this because it's a piece of art that I made and it's good and I'm proud, and I don't know. It's hard to explain how it helps, but for me, at least it helped a bit because I was like, you're basically turning yourself into art. Like, yeah. I try to blend and I can't understand how the brushes work. Some brushes are just softer and more susceptible to you putting pressure on them. And those tend to be the ones that I prefer to use. So I don't know if that helps at all, but... Okay, now we're gonna do... Rendering my beloved. Okay, I need a lighter color. I've actually, I don't know, I really have been enjoying, this is unfortunate, but I do play a lot of League of Legends, and I've been taking a lot of inspiration from their art style lately. And I actually feel like, so whenever they do like League splash art and stuff like that, they typically put, like they'll upload the League splash art videos to YouTube, and I've been enjoying watching them a lot lately. I feel like actually just watching speed paints and stuff like that helps with my art so much. I don't know, am I the only one that's like that? I'm curious. I know I've got a lot of other artists in chat. My eye bags currently look like that? Yo, same. Yeah, I have glasses and makeup on, so it's a little hard to see, but I have like horrible times with eye bags. Hi, hello. League stream when? I don't know. I would actually really love to do a League stream. I just feel like it would be fun. Pride art, yay! Yes, Gab. Riot splash art is insane. No, literally. Like, I know that people can hark on League of Legends all they want, but League of Legends art is just so good, and I love this. I really want to become a splash artist. Like, if I could become anything, it'd be a splash artist. Yeah, I love watching speed paints. It's so nice to see people figure out to draw certain things. Also, like, so my favorite one that I just watched recently, it was the Cafe Cuties Gwen splash art. No, I think it was the Sakura splash art. It was like just really good. And they did the same thing. They rendered in black and white like I did. And I don't know, it's really cool to see artists that have like similar but not quite similar processes to you. So yeah, here's the eyeballs. I think this one needs to be a little bit wider, a little bit taller. So I'm gonna do that real quick. And hi chat, hello to anyone who's just here. You waved at the camera the second I came to stream. I just knew. That's what's up. I just simply knew. Speed paints are so satisfying. Yeah. Your trip looked like you were covered in splash art, or is that something different? That was splash art. So for context, Mez, splash art is like, it's a kind of a term for like video game. It's like full page art. But when I went on my trip recently, we played with paint and we like, wait, you know, when you've been spending too much time on Twitter, when you have a few responses, someone says render. Fair enough. But I don't know. It's like the stuff that I was doing is we basically were doing like field day sports with paint. That was a lot. The issue is that, so chat, you didn't get to see this part, but, I recently was in an event for Misfits called Paint Day, and like the paint was really watered down, so it was mostly watered, and the building that we were in was air conditioned, and so when I was in the building, I started shaking. Like, I don't think the camera picked it up at all, but I just started shaking because I was so freaking cold, because we were like wet in an air conditioned building. Yeah, thank you so much, Examaran, for the tier 1. I appreciate it. Also, this song is called Better For Me by Fake Laugh. It's such a good song. I've been here in a fat minute. Hope you're well. I am well. Thank you. I'm working on the eyes of this render right now. The nose is a little crooked, but I'm just going to fix that in the rendering process. My nose is a little crooked, to be very fair. Nothing wrong with that. It was so good. I love Paint Day. It was fun, I have to admit. There was like definitely things like I would want you guys to know, like, it's okay if you didn't enjoy it 100%. Like, they're being super susceptible to feedback. So, like, you know, honestly, if you have, like, some suggestions, like, feel free to just, like, message me on, like, my alt Twitter, and I can pass things along. Because, like, that's the thing, is I genuinely want to get better at it. First-time viewer? Hello! Okay, I'm gonna keep working on these little nostrils. Noses are so hard to do, but I feel like I've gotten a lot better at them lately. I'm just gonna try my hardest. I have a very, like, like a ball nose. Like it's very like, hello, your art looks interesting. Thank you. Okay, wait. Before you guys arrived, I was literally just talking about how like painting and drawing my insecurities has actually helped me in my life. So good thing we're getting to the nose just now. So if I hope you have an amazing day. Noses are so hard. Dude, the thing is about noses is that they're all just so different. I know that's like kind of a given, but like there really is no one way to draw noses because they're all just most noses aren't the same like at all, and they also like are probably the most like modeled thing on our faces, so because of that they have like the most structure. Am I on the right layer? Okay, I am. Just making sure. So like shadow and stuff hits them differently. There's all kinds of reasons why, you know, you might not be good at drawing noses. And it's okay not to be good at them because you know what? Practice. I'm still getting used to drawing noses. Especially since like, I don't know. I'd like to draw people a lot. People are like my main thing. I actually, when I was a kid, I used to hate drawing people, and I used to hate painting and drawing people, and now it's like all that I paint and draw, so it's kind of awkward. Oh, also the giveaway was at the start of the stream, sorry. What are your pronouns? I use they, them, or she, her, but honestly, I don't really care. Just use whatever. I'm indifferent to gender at this point. Okay, Snifferish nose. This is like too detailed. Okay, and then this is gonna go. You know how I remember? Oh wait, you know what I gotta look up, chat? If you're ever struggling, TVH, you're the first channel I ever subbed to, Sniff. Oh, thank you. Okay, wait here. I gotta do face planes. Okay, chat. If you're ever having like issues like rendering and drawing, just look up face planes, like online. And no, they're just very helpful. They kind of, you know, they show you how like light typically hits the face. Just helpful for me at least. Obviously, everyone has different faces, so it's gonna hit differently, but still gives you a general idea. Okay, and then I need to do, I think I'm gonna lighten up the nose a little bit just because. Okay, and then also thing about my nose is like you can like very easily see my nostrils. So I'm just gonna kind of use that as a... Noses are hard to render. That is the moral of this story, but I'm gonna do it. Your turn now. This is actually kind of looking like my nose. I'm a little impressed. Ah, Sniff, little smiley guy. Okay, then I'm gonna do my Cupid's bow. I have a very pronounced Cupid's bow for some reason, which is so funny because I think I'm like the only person in my family. Do you guys also have that? Like, okay, wait. Do you do realism? I like to do like semi-realism, I guess. I don't know. But do you guys like also have like one like feature on you that like no one else in your family has? Because like, I don't know. I feel like that's like more common than I think it is, but I don't know. For me, it's like my Cupid's bow, my boobies. Like, I don't know. There's just like so many. I have a lot of features that like no one else in my family has because I've got like a lot of skipped generational stuff. Does that make sense? Freckles? Yeah. Dude, I know how to... I think that's like the same thing with Charles. I'm pretty sure that like them and their sibling have freckles, but then like neither of their parents do. But that also might be because their parents like don't touch grass. I don't know. Shout out. Sorry if y'all are watching this. A very small nose. I have curly hair and no one else does. See, I have like an interesting hair texture, but apparently my dad also has the same one. You just can't see it because he's got short hair. I'm the only ginger in my family. I have a friend that's like that. But they're also cool as fuck with their ginger hair, so... This nose, I'm actually so proud of this nose. Normally I do like more simplified noses, but I have naturally multicolored hair. I have a hitchhiker's thumb. I think I have a hitchhiker's thumb. Isn't that when it like goes back? Is that That's what it is, right? My dad is bald. So true. My dad is like half bald. Yeah. Shout out to my dad. He's probably not watching. He sometimes watches the stream. He thinks you guys are cool, by the way. My hair is straight except for like one strand of my bangs that is so curly. See, you know what's funny about hair is like really greatly affected by hormones. So like my hair was like pin straight for so long, and then I went through puberty, and then it was like, no, we're gonna do this weird fluffy shit that like no one knows about. It was really funny, but also I was like, what in the world is going on? Especially since no one in my family like knew how to take care of it, because the only person that had it was my dad. I still don't really know how to take care of it. I'm still learning from people online. Okay, time to do... My lips have like this weird thing where they like go up and then out. Like, okay, that looks weird. I think I need to make it a little bit smaller. Here, let me try. I don't know. Oh, sniff. Never mind. You guys saw nothing. This is the struggle of trying to do this while rendering. Here we go. Let's try this. Just a wee bit smaller. There we go. I've got a smaller nose than most people in my family and freckles. That's cute. Try to think if there's like anything else. I mean, one thing that's like, no, I don't really know. Me and my sister both got blue eyes, but my mom has green eyes. That's one thing. I kind of am sad. I wish I had my mom's eyes because they're really pretty, but oh well. Oh well. Okay, here we go. Just gonna try to blend the lip in a little bit. My lips are very fleshy. I don't know why I said that. That's like everyone's lips are fleshy. I'm not like the other bitches. My lips are flesh. I love watching people draw. It's so endearing. Thank you. I like drawing. It's fun. I don't do it as often as I should, but I really want to get into it more, especially now that like I'm going to be enjoying my free time a lot more and hopefully working on some game design stuff. I wonder why Snifferish would be working on that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it quite a bit. Okay, I'm gonna lighten the top lip a little bit. I'm not really sure where I want the light to come from. I think I'm just gonna kind of do this side. I'm doing like pretty soft lighting. If I do harsher lighting, I can add it in later. Okay, and then let me get a middle color. Let me just transition. Lips are so hard, what the fuck? I think this is like okay looking. I think I need to make my Cupid's bow deeper. Like this. The nice thing about rendering is like if you mess up, you kind of just like paint, like rendering in at least in the way that I am. Whenever I mess up, I just like kind of paint over it. I think that's probably why I like this style so much, is because it's like the most similar to like IRL painting, which is probably why I'm so into this style. Okay, and then I need to grab a smaller brush and we're gonna just build up the corners of the mouth a little bit more. I'm gonna do some... I have like... My lips aren't like... My lip line is not like a straight line. Like it's got like these two dents. I don't know if that makes sense. Okay. Now I need to do some more... hair dye recommendation? I literally, every time I dye my hair, I use professional dye. Like seriously, if you can, try and source like actual professional dye. It's a little scary because then you're probably working with like developer and shit like that, but it's so much worth it. And it also tends to stink a lot less. So if you have like sensory issues like I do, and like hair dyeing is like always abominable, seriously recommend. Okay, wait, let me... Snifferish. I'm just here excited. Rendering art is always just so fun. I know I keep saying that, but it's true. Especially like when you get into the like later when you're working in skin and you get to do like anything that involves like skin undertones, I actually like really enjoy. I know for a lot of people it's a pain, but I just think that like skin of all types is just really pretty, and there's like a lot of different other colors that you can see in it, and like I don't know, it's the most complicated, but like when you get it right, it's like the most worth it. Especially like the way that like different color skins highlight differently, and like gosh, the moral of the story is do skin studies. It's really worth it. Rendering is so cool to watch, TBH. I know. It's so cool to like make something that like is 2D just look so much more like realistic and like 3D. I don't know, it's cool. It makes me feel like really accomplished by the end of it all. Okay, I gotta do like my underlip thing, this part. And I have like laugh lines, so I'm gonna make sure that I get those. I think I need to make my lips still a little bit more. Because obviously when you smile, it tends to stretch your lips out. You know what is probably going to be a good reference? There was this, hi, I'm new, I'm Snifferish. I posted a photo on Twitter earlier. I'm going to look at that for reference. A photo of myself as reference for myself. It's great. Okay, here we go. Sniffs all. I posted photos of my hair and people were freaking out. There we go. I can now see myself. I also can work on my nose a little bit. So I just see now that my nostrils go up like that. Oh no, Sniff, how could you do such a thing and do your nostrils so wrong? Well, you see, it's called Sniff moment. So I think my nostrils are too big now. Now that I actually have a photo of myself, this is gonna go so hard. Nose is my beloved. Okay, we're gonna get up there a little bit. And then I'm just gonna... Okay, it's a little messy, but it's good for now. Okay, and then nose, this goes down. Okay, so when I'm smiling, it actually looks like my Cupid's bow kind of disappears a bit. It's interesting. And then I have like laugh lines, so my little corners go down. Okay, and I'm also gonna do kind of like a little bit of a liner. Obviously these eyes are stylized, but I still want to incorporate the Snifferish liner. That looks different, one sec. Make it a little bit smaller. There we go, that's a little better. Then I'm taking a... Nope, never mind. No liner. No liner. Stiff wouldn't be able to Snifferish. This is so true, actually. Is green hair a good idea? No. Don't recommend. Do not recommend. It didn't look good on me. I think it just... No. Okay. I want a small brush. I'm gonna kind of use the push. I need to push my smile up a little bit. Okay. Don't mind me just messing with my own smile. I think it's just too dark. I think I need some more highlights in here. Like I said, I always start with the faces. I think one of the biggest reasons why is because just stereotypically, they take the longest. Like I will probably spend as long as I like I'll probably spend as long as I do rendering the face than I will like the rest of the piece. Like do you have any life goals yet? Of course. I'm only 19, chat. For some reason everyone thinks I'm like 80. That's how I at least feel. That's the thing is this it's so interesting. When I'm online, people either think I'm like 2 or like 85. It's obviously an exaggeration, but you know. Then I'm making her mine. The truth is, chat, I don't know what I'm doing. At least not majority of the time. Snifferish. Look at. I like the eyes. I'm pretty proud of the eyes. I know that they're like very unrendered right now, but time. We're so young, but we're proud. Gotta do more of the nose. Like it needs to go out a little bit. Okay, and then I feel like honestly the most important thing to learn is just the highlights of the face. If you learn the highlights, you pretty much like just need to put the highlights on a mid-tone and then just kind of figure out it's easier to figure out where the shadows go at that point. At least for me personally. Ah, it's coming together, chat. It's coming together. My cat is watching my stream with you. That's so cute. Oh my god. I love it when people tell me that their animals are watching stream. It makes me really happy. Okay, now we're gonna start doing, when it comes to hair, I typically just like block it out at first. Just makes the most sense. Looks a little scary with the sketch. Also gotta do the glasses real quick, one sec. You get really thin line. Sorry, I'm in concentration glasses mode. I can work with this. I think there needs to be more shadow over here though. And then more pale. And unfortunately, when it comes to my glasses, like, I'll probably have to do the reflection at a different point. Pretty hair, looks super nice, Snifferish. Thank you. Sorry you guys can't see me right now. The sun is just coming in my room at like a gazillion degrees. Um, art as a whole is a trust the process. Yeah. Yeah. My art is definitely a trust the process, like always, but literally anything I do is a trust the process. Because most of the time I'm like learning as I go. So I'm just like, you kind of have to watch me learn, and that normally involves like being bad for a minute or two or longer. Okay, and then now I'll start. Of course, I don't have as light hair anymore, so I guess I don't need to spend so much time on this. Also, I need to switch to a different source. Yeah, this is a much chiller source. Okay. So then when it comes to hair, it really is just like various strokes. And like I said, I just kind of like slowly figure out the shapes. I kind of just start as abstract as possible and then slowly build up. I think that's kind of the one thing I've noticed that just works best for me. I look so happy in this photo. Shout out Cringe Pride Art. Oh, it's just the best. Sif, could you do more streams like this? I really like the vibe. Of course, I'd love to do more art streams, honestly. I just haven't been doing them as much because, like, honestly, art streams are hard because I don't want to, like, force artistic, like, you know, the artistic mood. Also, one thing is, like, I can only draw for so long before I get, like, exhausted, if that makes any sense. So normally I just kind of can only do like stream for like an hour and a half whenever I do art. And I've been trying to stream longer, which is probably why I haven't done as many art streams simultaneously. I think this actually is looking good so far, I'm not gonna lie. Everyone congratulate Pidge on their 1-year mod anniversary. Congrats, Pidge. Thank you so much for being a part of the Snifferish team. Honestly, shout out the entire snaff.
Money.
Money. Thank you. What does it say? Why can't I read it? What does it say? It says, hey mate, rough day at school. This helps me calm down. Thank you, man. Yeah, no problem. I know school's been really stressful for a lot of people. It's also just sometimes really hard going into school when there's a lot of like public events going on right now that like kind of have to do with school. So, you know, I definitely have been there and I feel for you guys and I hope you're doing okay. Okay, I'm just gonna build up the jawline again, but like not really because like I don't really have the most intense jawline anyways. Okay, I'm gonna do like some more smaller strands of hair. My last day was today. I had one final and I booked it, TVH. Dude, speaking of booking things, chat, have I told you about my plane home from Florida yet? Have I told you about the fact that Charles and I had to make a connection in like 10 minutes? If you saw, yeah, so basically, if you have been in the Atlanta airport lately and you saw some random ass, like, purple with person hair, like, running down, like, the entirety of Terminal A, yeah, that was me. Sorry, I guess? I don't know. Oh, we got Christmas Cat Jam? Yeah, no, literally, I changed Cat Jam during Christmas and haven't changed it back just because I thought it would be funny to not have the right Cat Jam. Plus, you know what? Why not just Christmas Cat Jam? I'm not even a big Christmas person. It's the timing, man. Nice. Okay, I'm gonna build up. I think I'm doing mostly highlights on this side. I'm the king of cool, baby, you're the queen of white lies. Hello, I'm a new person, your art is really good, and I'm losing my voice. Oh, I'm sorry you're losing your voice, and thank you for complimenting my art. Okay. I need more hair wispies. Hair wispies are my life at this point. Just kind of like in the face, framing the face. I'm just gonna let my hair get progressively bigger, because, like, honestly, at this time of year, my hair just doesn't know what it's doing, and it just gets as large as possible. I don't know if anyone else's hair does that in the summertime, but that is all mine ever does, is just see how large it can get. Christmas can happen any time of the year. So true. Fluffy hair for real? No, guys, wait, literally? Obviously, it's probably calmed down now that I've, like, had it up, but... Chat. Like, if we want to talk about fluffy hair... I don't know what's up with it. It's just, it's a lot. I low-key need a haircut at this point, because it's just a lot of, it's too much. it's getting longer. I know, it's like just so, I feel like I could just like sniff fluff. So true. Just so much sniff fluff. Wait, I lost my Apple Pen. Okay. Where did my Apple Pen go? Hello? Wait, Apple Pen? Beloved? How did I lose my Apple Pen that quickly? What the? Huh? Did it just get swallowed into the void? Hello? Wait. Shake out the blanket. It's not on the blanket. Did it fall on the floor? It did. I found it, chat. Dude, the honest, if I had $1 for every time that I lost my Apple Pen, I would be so rich. Okay. Back to drawing, I guess. Now that we've got the Apple Pen. Here we go. Back to the drawing. And angry and sad at the things that you do. Okay, need a lighter color. So for my turtlenecks, I typically wear pretty light turtlenecks underneath my sweaters, but I really just want to show the like corrugation. What's the word for it? You know when it's like when you're like wearing like a knit turtleneck or something like that, and it like has like the straight line pattern. Yeah, like this. How much I miss ya. There we go. You can like kind of see what I'm trying to do there. And then I'll dilute it and keep working on the pattern again. Sif is holding a lesbian flag and Charles is holding a general LGBT flag. Yeah, that's true. So this one's just like gonna be like the normal, and then in between us is supposed to be the non-binary flag, because both my partner and I are non-binary. I'll definitely like have to clean up the shading a little bit as I go, but for now I'm just trying to get like a messy outline or like yeah, I'm gonna give you motivation to draw again. Yo! Sif, where can we find your art? I don't know. I kind of like rarely post it, unfortunately. I don't really have like a dedicated, this is the unfortunate thing. I don't really have like a dedicated art like Twitter or like account. I guess my alt Twitter is where I post most of my art, but I'm also like constantly tweeting about random shit on there, so if you don't want to see that, I guess rip. Yeah. It's kind of up to you. I have to admit, my alt is a hoot and a half, so if you feel like being silly goofy, maybe go check out Sniffrish's alt Twitter. Oh no. Okay, I'm just gonna fill this in. Wonder where you are. On a scale of 1 to 10, how big should my Minecraft house be? You know what? Maybe I'm just weird, but I like smaller Minecraft houses. Yeah. I feel like when they're smaller, you can kind of put in like more detail. And I feel like that's worth it. But then again, it kind of depends, because if you're playing survival, you also want like some functionability or whatever. Like, this is so endearing. Thank you. It's really gay, and yeah. Okay, I'm trying to think about what else I want to, how else I want to go about this. It also doesn't help that my brain is like on rendering block right now, but I think it's funny, and like you can see like just how I'm rendered and then Charles' little silly face, and it's like, Charlie has a silly face. It doesn't help that I haven't rendered it yet, and I'm kind of doing them dirty by rendering myself before them. Okay, more fluff, more hair fluff. Okay, and I'm just gonna add some more highlights in the hair. Non-artist, sorry, what is rendering? So rendering is just kind of like a simple term for adding lights and shadows. If that makes any sense. Like, but basically what I'm doing right now, like I'm not coloring, like I think for some people artists like will color and render at the same time. For me personally, I add my lights and my shadows separately and then color from there. So I need to like figure out what's going on here on this side of the face. It's like kind of a mess. So here, let me do that first. And then this will be like a little upwards fluff right there. And then we'll have some fluff right here. Like, I'm just saying fluff instead of hair at this point. It's just kind of how I've accepted my hair at this point. Yeah. Everyone's always like, Sniff, you just have curly hair. You just need to take care of it. I guess I like kind of have curly hair, but if anything, it's just a mixture. Like, so it's like not really anything. It's just hair. It's there, and it looks like I killed it several times. I don't know. I color then shade. I used to do that actually. It's so interesting. Everyone's just got so much different processes. I love it. Oh. This looks so good. I'm not gonna add the Snifferish antlers. I'm sorry, chat. Good news. Bonkus is done? Chat. This is a historic moment. You don't understand. Charles has been working on this stupid hammer for like 80 years. Oh my god. Congrats, Charles. I'm so happy for you. Actually, you know what I'll do is I'll come and help you take photos of it to post on Twitter in a bit. I'm almost done. I'm getting a little tired of drawing. I did a whole sketch today and I'm like already rendered a face. So yeah. What's bonkus? So if you guys don't know, my partner, Charles, they like to create like cosplay props and weapons and stuff like that. And they're recently making a hammer for Sneeg, and it has taken them a really long time. But it's also like a super big project, so, you know, can't blame them. Anyways, yeah, that's the case. Chat, I'm actually going to end stream. I'm going to end stream and go see Bonkus. I'm going to help Charles take photos of Bonkus, and then Charles will be live later. And then I'll be live tomorrow for some MCC practice. And then hopefully there'll be a longer stream and less scuffed, because I won't be, you know, trying to do a giveaway. But, yeah. All right, let me see if I can raid anybody. Back to Twitch. Is there anyone I want to raid? Oh, don't mind the fact that I will. I see who I would like to raid. Okay. All right. We're gonna go raid Ollie because Ollie's really cool and Ollie's raided us a bunch of times. So be really kind to Ollie. Be a nice little lad or lattice or whatever you want. And I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow. Yeah. Mwah.